Welcome to the ItJustWorksPodcast. I'm your host, Ryan, and today we're continuing the Marvel Cinematic Universe journey with Guardians of the Galaxy Vol.1. And before I introduce my guests, I just want to say real quick to rate the show. If you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, or if you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. But also check out our Instagram at ItJustWorksStudios, where you can actually hop in a giveaway I'm doing that ends May 12th, and we're recording this Sunday at 10:19 on April 30th. It is for The Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. It's a free $70 game. Hop in the giveaway. You never know, you might win, and you can go resell the game, or you could play it. Hopefully you play it. It's the most anticipated game of the year. But be sure to check out our socials and rate the show again. Thank you guys so much. And let's go ahead and get on with the show. I have two amazing guests here today to continue this Marvel conversation that we all love and some people might hate. But I have Eric, the Periodic Gamer, back, and Mike is back as well. And Mike, how's your week been so far, man?
Good, dude. Just racing home this weekend. Had the kids and the family over in Arizona, and for a graduation thing, and so it's been kind of whirlwind of shit. But I'm glad to be back home. So I'm glad to see you guys again, dude. I'm getting spoiled.
Yeah. Dude, 2 weekends in a row. Oh my god. Definitely living up that dad life over there, man. Just went from the international man of mystery to full-on dad life. I like it. I'm happy for you. Definitely happy to have you on again. Definitely plan on continuing the MCU until probably Endgame. We'll probably stop after that because it sucks after that. But yes, man, love to see your face. Hopefully we can keep doing it every weekend. But Eric, you are also here. Eric, how's your week been, man?
Oh, hello, Ryan. Thanks for noticing me, you piece of shit. Also, you need to change my fucking name. I don't like it. The Periodic Gamer sounds dumb, and that's not what it was.
Come up with something.
I don't need to
There's
come up
a
with
casual gamer.
I don't need to come up with shit.
I thought, when did it change?
Ryan's dumb.
Because he says that he plays games not even casually anymore. He says he plays them periodically, and I was like, oh, he's a Periodic Gamer.
No, we had a better name for it.
Go back and listen, bitch.
Okay.
Anyways, how's your week been so far?
It's been just awesome, Ryan. Thank you so much for asking. I appreciate you giving a shit about nothing.
What have you done this week that, made you feel like you did nothing?
I didn't do anything. Life just becomes a blur there, bud. What?
I mean, did you have a busy work week? Did you do any projects, any restaurants we working on? Anything notable?
Yeah, I did a bunch of stuff. Drove around a lot. I watched a lot of Succession while I was driving, so that was probably the biggest thing I did this week.
Dude, I heard that's a really good show.
I plowed through the first season in a couple days. I'm in the second season now. I just had never watched it, and so yeah, I have been enjoying that one. And then I did get caught up on Barry, so that was cool. Because that's actually
that's out.
Really good. It's very good. I'm excited to see where it ends. I haven't watched Bill Hader's just like Bill Hader's knocked it out of the park for the last season 3 and then even this season. The way that he because it's just a totally different character for him and the way he plays it. And honestly, he plays it with you can just completely see he's fucked in the head, and he does a really good job of that and showing that off. So it's a really good show. You guys should watch if you're not. But yeah, I've been doing that. Works fine, whatever. Work. Nothing to write home about. And then went swimming yesterday with the kids and hung out at the pool. That's about it, dude. How about you, Ryan? How was your week?
It's been good. I have a survey coming up for work, so that's like my bosses will walk around some of my main accounts to make sure that like all the stuff that We're looking to push for sales right now. We're on the sales floor and looking dialed in. So that's going to be this Thursday when we go see Guardians. They're going to walk my stores. I also just applied for a district manager position. So hopefully that goes well. Really
There you
looking
go,
forward to
dude.
any.
Good job.
Yeah, dude. Like, I was talking to mom about it yesterday. Thank you so much. I was talking to mom about it yesterday. Like, it's crazy. My 5-year plan with the company is actually like becoming a reality. Like, I wanted to become an area manager in 5 years. That's not gonna happen yet, but I'm pretty fucking close, dude. Like, and I got this job with just my resume. I didn't know a single person in the company. I wasn't handed anything. And my whole life, like we talk about, it's been you and Chris making things easy for me. But like this job is all me and like making a name for myself and promoting myself. The bosses and stuff, and like, damn, it's like kind of cool to see it come this far, and I can't wait to see where it goes because I want to run the damn place. So, um, it's exciting, man. Like, I'm excited at the opportunity at an interview because I believe I'm guaranteed that. Obviously, I'm not guaranteed the promotion, but just the idea of that prospect makes me really happy. So that's pretty much my week. Just been doing that. I've been working out every day. I've lost 10 pounds now. Gonna probably amp up the workouts moving forward because I think I need to do a little bit more intensive stuff. Just been trying to eat healthy. Checked out the new Star Wars game. It's cool. But I've been watching Beef on Netflix. I don't know if you guys saw that with Ali Wong and Stephen Young. And it's one of the most fucked up shows I've ever seen in my life because it really shows like how sad we are as people or how shitty we treat each other and how, you don't know someone's life on the outside might look good, but on the inside it's crumbling and falling apart. And the show does a really good job of showing that. I'm on episode I think 5 or 6 of 10. And then I forgot that Barry season 4 started, Eric. So I really appreciate you saying that because I've watched that show since it premiered, and I think it's one of the best shows of all time. And like you said, Bill Hader really knocks it out of the park. So I can't wait to watch season 4. I think they're probably a couple episodes deep now.
Yeah,
I missed the
episode
premiere.
4 is tonight.
Okay, cool. So I'll be catching up on Barry. So I appreciate you saying that. And then Succession. I heard what happened in season 4, but I do need to watch the whole series. I heard it's really good. So kind of
That
excited
guy,
to jump back
there's
into
a guy in
television.
there too. There's a guy in there, Jeremy Strong, who plays Kendall. Actually, the whole. Do you watch that, Mike?
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah. Oh, I big fan of Succession.
Yeah. So Kendall, Jeremy Strong plays Kendall, but I mean, even him in the first season. I mean, it's almost. I don't even know what the word, like, just fucking sad the way that he is at the end of the season 1 and then going into season 2. But the Jeremy Strong, the actor, does really well. Everybody in that show is fucking awesome. I really think that it is one of the best shows out there. And half the time, I don't even know what the fuck they're talking about, stocks and equity firms, and like I don't even care. It's just good. It's good TV. Kieran Culkin he's hilarious, but I mean he's just dropping the lines. I mean the writing is, and that's the only reason I actually wanted. So there was 2 reasons I started watching it. Was 1, Corey from work started telling me about it, and then 2, I watched Hot Ones with Kieran Culkin, and he just kind of made me want to watch it. So yeah, so I started to dive in, and it is very good. I'm excited to kind of see where it goes. And then
Nice,
beef is very good too, and I think that's one of the things I think about that show that is really good because of the fact that it's what you said, Ryan. Like these, especially Ali Wong's character, she should be on top of the world. She's got this and that, and deep down she's just like unhappy, and it just kind of shows the human experience between people of all different ilks and what people are going through. Like you said, you just don't know. So it kind of leans into that, like, you really should be kinder to people, strangers, coworkers. And I'm not even saying kiss their ass. I'm just saying, like, you just don't know what people are going through. So it's a good show. It's very good. I'm glad that they had Ali Wong and Steven Yeun on that as far as like the mains. But I think all supporting characters are really good too, for supporting actors.
Yeah, I think like the whole cast is amazing, and I think the writing is like superb.
The writing's very good.
because all of us have jobs where we meet people every day or we see new people every day, and it's just like, yeah, man, like this show does a really good job of some of the bullshit you hear about that people, fight about, or the road rage and shit. Like, it's nuts, man, how well they've captured it. So yeah, I can't recommend it enough. And then John Mulaney's new special is out too, Baby J. I highly recommend that. I watched that this week. He dives very deep into his cocaine addiction and all that. So, and now he's got a baby with Olivia Munn, so he's winning on top of the world.
There you go.
Anyways, guys, we're here to talk about Marvel, and we're continuing the cinematic universe. We're still on phase 2, right, Eric? This is phase 2.
Yeah.
So we're moving on now to Guardians of the Galaxy Vol.1, and I gotta tell you guys just right out the gate, like, I'll go first on this one, but I remember when the movie was coming out, we were all really excited because James Gunn is great. We love Chris Pratt from Parks and Rec and all that, and now he's getting all buff and shit. And then I knew about Rocket and Groot, and then Star-Lord from just past media like comics and just some video games, like Marvel Ultimate Alliance, and then Marvel vs. Capcom. So I was familiar with the characters, but I didn't really know much about them. And I would say, like, rewatching this movie almost 10 years later, because I think it came out 2014, it holds up so well. I enjoyed every second of this movie. I had such a good time. I haven't watched it since me and Eric watched all the movies leading up to Infinity War and Endgame. So it's been quite a while since I've seen it. And like the opening scene where his mom's dying, like, dude, that shit fucked me up, man. I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff. But the character development between all of them, I just can't believe they did such a good job of like bringing all these characters to the prison, and they're not immediately like trusting each other, but like Gamora is immediately showing a side that no one knows, which is that she wants to betray Ronan and Thanos, which, obviously Rocket's like, well, if everyone knows her name in the galaxy as just a murderer and shit, but actually you're seeing this different side of her immediately. And I just thought they did a really good job with the prison and then moving forward. But yeah, I fucking love this movie. I had such a good time watching it. I was laughing my ass off. But Mike, did you know these characters before this movie came out? And how did you feel watching it back then as opposed to now?
I had no idea. None, zero. And I guess how I felt from then and now. I mean, I think you hit it on the head. I loved it. I still find a way to squeeze that in my favorite MCU movies, like at least top 5. So it was really fun watching it and showing, like, to the kids, and the kids still, identify with, Groot and Star-Lord and the Green Girl. Like my daughters are always in love with the green girl or the blue girl or whoever color girl, but it's fun, dude. It was one of the ones that I remember, for the non hardcore Marvel guys back then I remember it was like, I don't, they're coming off of a few good ones that they set up, these iconic characters, and they're introducing a cast of characters that I know there's a good chunk of the people that don't really know necessarily. So they got to hit this out of the park. This is a really high risk, high reward type stuff. Like if they hit it out of the park, great. And it's going to propel us up, like just jump up Marvel to that next step. And they did. So it was a lot of fun rewatching it. And, again, I wish I could shit on Marvel, but I can't for this one. It's kind of strange, but this is, I love this movie. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I love, there's arguments to me that I like the second one better than the first one. So, yeah.
I mean, we can dive into that later as well. I mean, I still remember that movie vaguely, very much, so we can probably bring it up towards the end. But before we talk about how it propelled the MCU forward, because it really did in so many different ways. Eric, did you know these characters before the movie came out, besides maybe just some certain media? And how did you feel about watching the movie this week as opposed to when you originally saw it? Which we were hyped for both, but
yeah, I think it's kind of the same with you. I mean, I knew of the Guardians of the Galaxy, didn't know all the character names. I don't really remember when or where from, but I think honestly I was more interested in Chris Pratt being the lead, because I knew him. I had watched Ritually, Parks and Rec, so I knew him. Zoe Saldana, of course, I knew, and Dave Bautista. They just started throwing stuff out there that was like, oh shit, like this is very weird. This is very different. And then you start looking like at the pictures from comics and the character lore and kind of the stuff, and it's like, oh shit, there's a raccoon with a gun and a giant tree with a face, and then Bradley Cooper's the voice, and Vin Diesel, and again Batista's in this now, so he's got a big movie coming out. It's just, I don't know, like Mike said, like definitely agree with Mike. Like if this flopped, I mean, this would have been just so bad, but it didn't. And thank God it didn't, because it is one of the best Marvel movies. I agree with Mike on that too, being in the top 5. Like I said, because of Chris Pratt, I was interested. And then Zoe Saldana, and then James Gunn. We knew his work from whatever the movies before that he'd done that I'm forgetting now. Slither and
Slither was a big one for me.
Yeah, Slither, and there's another one, but I can't think of it. So I thought that was really cool. Marvel giving him a chance to kind of do that, and then I actually saw this movie. I believe I saw it 4 times in a row. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday when it came out. I know that I went. Yeah. I know that the last one I went with Britain. That was like our first date, like actual real date.
Oh,
yeah. We went and hung out in Victoria Gardens, and we went to that bowling alley, there was a bar there, and then we went across the street and went to watch the movie at the theater there. So I remember that. And then watching it yesterday. I enjoyed the shit out of it again. And I've seen this, numerous times. I don't remember how many, but I really enjoyed it. Like you said, the character development, with characters that you barely know, and kind of they lead you on. They leave you with a little bit of, Drax and his family being killed, and kind of Rocket says what he says, and about his past. It kind of leaves you wanting some more. And then the opening scene is definitely still hits hard. So that's, which is just a testament to the scene and the actors and the writing. So, it still hits home. It's still a great movie. I think everybody did such a good job on this that it's really hard to nit. There's one thing I can think of off the top of my head that was just a little bit nitpicky, but it's really not even that bad, but we'll get there.
Well, the other movies that you would have really known him for is just Scooby-Doo.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, I looked at his entire filmography. It's literally just movie 43 the year before this comes out, Slither in 2006 or 2008, and then Scooby-Doo. And then he did a Dawn of the Dead 2004 as well. So those 3 movies are the reasons why we know him.
That one, Dawn of the Dead. That was the one where
Dawn of the Dead actually wasn't. Yeah, I was gonna say it's actually not a bad film.
That's a good movie.
Yeah. So Mike said that this movie really propelled the MCU forward, and it really did in so many ways, kind of like Doctor Strange did with magic. And this movie really propelled it forward by not only showing and talking about it, the Celestials, the Infinity Stones, the Collector, and his whole museum of characters. He even has like the Dark Elves, one of a Dark Elf in there, and Cosmo. Howard the Duck is in there too. I don't know if it's like the second
Thor.
one.
Yeah, he's got like a Thor looking person.
Yes,
with a red cape and looks like a hammer or something, some kind of weapon.
Yeah, it looks precisely like
bro. Okay, was it just Guardian?
I don't. It looks just like Chris Hemsworth though, so I don't know if like they were trying to poke fun at that.
Bitch.
But yeah, like this movie really like started the Infinity Wars essentially. Like this movie really makes it happen and is the beginning of it. Essentially, just like I guess you could say Captain America, the Tesseract. But yeah, I just couldn't agree with you more though. Like if this movie flopped, I almost wonder where it would be at today. But like Eric said, with the cast that they had, they really started to find a lot of faith in it. And then, James Gunn's history wasn't terrible. So it's just like, it was really exciting to see something fresh and different too, though, just a whole cast and crew of like space characters and honestly, as far as like the comics go and like some of the stuff, because obviously we all look it up and stuff before we see it just to get excited about the characters. They did a pretty good job of adapting all of them to the big screen. Their personalities are almost entirely the same as their comic book counterparts. And, Chris Pratt really embodies Star-Lord in, I would say, the perfect way. And like Eric said too, that is something that like immediately got me on board with this movie. Like I knew I was gonna have a good time no matter what, as Chris Pratt, in a leading role. Um, coming off of Parks and Rec. So that's pretty sweet. Um, but oh my gosh, I just drew a blank. But yeah, I don't know. It's great. Oh, that's what it was. Eric, you brought that up, and you are right. They talked about just enough of each character's backstory, besides obviously Star-Lord, you're kind of just seeing it. But even then they talk about his dad. And so you're kind of just left wondering, well, who's his dad? And like what is this all about? Drax talking about his wife and daughter getting murdered, or kid. Rocket's history, being pulled apart and then put back together, and then Gamora and Nebula kind of immediately having that rivalry right away. So you're like, well, where did this stem from? And Thanos literally says like his favorite daughter or something like that. So everyone's got a backstory immediately.
Yeah, and this was the first actual look at Thanos, correct? Like full look. I know they've done the face, and that was a different actor.
The Avengers thing was just completely just his like side of his face turning around. But this was our first full look at him. And they did a good job of that too, man. It was really fucking cool. It was really cool. I got excited seeing him again. Like I already know what happens.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's that, they did a good job with just kind of drawing that up real quick and having that scene. And then, I mean, everything looks really good too. I mean, I think the only thing that's like is okay is maybe Zoe Saldana's makeup's all right, but like Drax looks really good. Lee Pace as Ronan looks awesome.
Ronan.
So I mean, just everything they kind of did was pretty much on the mark. I mean, it's really hard to think about what maybe they could have done differently or better or because I mean, as I watched it yesterday, I really I just enjoyed it. I had no qualms with it at all. Mike, did you find anything that was kind of anything like that?
Well, it was still Ronin. For me, like even the first time watching it, it was really like the whole theme of the movie really, because it was like a space movie, but it was more of like a comedy than like it's like having a dark villainous character that only does evil shit. There wasn't a lot of depth to Ronan compared to like some other Marvel villains. Most of the, I mean, that's a different conversation, but but that's but he still, I mean, it's not like he was a terrible actor or he did, he took time away from other characters. It was just not too much depth behind it, other than like him being like brought up and bathed and smashing that dude's fucking head in with his long stick hammer and then his plan. Everything was clear what he wanted to do. It's just like he just but to the casting thing, because I wanted to talk about that, because I didn't feel that way, because I thought okay, well, I love Parks and Rec too, but he's gonna bulk up and he's gonna be the lead character, and okay, well, I don't know if that's gonna work. And then Dave Bautista comes in, I don't know if that's gonna work either. It's just it, and Zoe Saldana is whatever, okay, but they made it work, dude. But a bunch of it was weird. I didn't think it was gonna work, so I was glad to be wrong on that one. But it was just back to your point. It was just the villain for me. Just it was whatever.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I think that the movie is actually about the Guardians, right? So the villain, and I hate using that as like a scapegoat, but I do agree with you. Ronan's, he tells you exactly what he wants to do. There's not really a lot of backstory to why, I don't think, why he hates the Xandar, and besides maybe just years of war, I think, between the two, the Kree and the Xandarians, and but I think that's enough because the movie is doing so much. I mean, like Ryan said, that they're introducing Celestials, Thanos, 5 new characters, main characters, if you will. The Infinity Stones, the Collector. I mean, they're doing so much in this movie, but I think that Ronan only needed to do what he did. But I mean, it would have been nice if there was maybe a little bit more to his backstory, kind of just a little bit, just to shed light on why maybe he hates the Xandarians and is working with Thanos and has like this is just his life.
He does talk about
mission. Does he? Okay, well then I missed it.
Yeah, he talks about how they broke the peace treaty and killed his father and his father before him. That's what he says. He says that they went against the peace treaty and they still killed his people.
Well, maybe they should have had like a 30-second, showing of that, or I don't know. That way it actually because yeah, you're right. He did say that, but as I was
the problem
talking,
is that we can't do that with every character, and the only reason why Ronan's here is to propel the Infinity Wars forward. Right. I think that's why, like you're kind of saying, like it's kind of okay that he's just there just to die, and that's all he's used it for, because we're just moving along with the Infinity Stones and shit.
Yeah, and I think that's to the detriment of some of these movies, probably more so per person. Like I don't maybe see a big problem with it, but like the random moviegoer may be like, well, he was kind of a shitty villain. You know what I mean? Because it's the overarching story.
Yeah, and I think it's because like some of the old school movies and like the between the 70s and 90s, like the villains had such a huge deal in the movie. But in the MCU, things are a little different, where it's like with in terms of this part where we're moving forward with the Infinity Wars, Ronan, like his purpose was clear, his character was clear, and that's it. Like we just move along, and yeah, they probably could have used a little bit more screen time of him being more of a villain, but I thought he was perfectly fine. He's giving orders constantly. He's talking to Thanos. He kills Thanos' speaker. He makes his actions clear, and he kills a Xandarian with a hammer, like Mike said. He brings up why he hates Xandar. He grabs the Power Stone and succumbs to it, and he infuses it with his hammer. He takes out half the Xandarian fleet. He has a dance off at the end. I don't know. I mean, he's in it quite a bit and does a lot and talks a lot. I don't know. I don't think he's sidelined. And maybe I'm wrong, Mike, but I feel like maybe as you put it, like I don't think he's as sidelined as we're making it out to be.
Yeah, it was just he definitely had his fair share of scenes, and again, like he had a clear directive and a clear part in the story. And now that you mentioned that little tidbit about his father and what happened, I do now remember. I just because I'm trying now to think of which one I can compare him to as far as like maybe like a mid-tier villain in the MCU, and I can't think of anything right now, but I guess it was just more of a like
Mickey Rourke's character from Iron Man 2 is pretty throwaway.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, because he had his dad work with Tony, right? Yeah. But you even got like that whole beginning credit scene was, even that movie was shitty. You got the whole movie, like opening credit scene was like that, diving into that, and we just kind of get Roman, and he's more like a general in the whole thing with the whole scheme of things. But I don't know. Again, that's like we all love the movie. I love the movie, and I'm just again nitpicking, but
I think it's a valid nitpick though, because like he's such a huge villain. He's the leader of the Kree, and he's just in this movie to be thrown away to die. Like, yeah, I could totally see though why someone would have a problem with that. I mean, it makes sense to me. It would have been cool if like maybe he survived and you see him with Thanos the next time, and then you have to for sure put him down. I don't know. They could have definitely found a different way to still make him try to come back for revenge against the Guardians and now the Avengers. But I think there's definitely something there for sure. Because what's his name, Eric? Lee Pace or
Lee Pace.
Yeah, he's a great fucking actor, dude, and I thought he did really good in the role. So I think it's a very valid nitpick. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But in terms of the supporting cast we have as well, we have John C. Reilly, we have Michael Rooker, we have Sean Gunn, and we have
Benicio,
the fucking Collector. Yeah, Benicio del Toro.
Glenn Close, Benicio del Toro.
Yeah, I mean, we have just an incredible cast of characters all around. It's not even just our main cast. I thought, I don't know, dude. I thought all of them were really great, and And I think that's why I really like the movie too, though, is I love it when it's not just the main characters that make you appreciate it. It's literally all the characters. I think that's such a huge deal. And I think James Gunn did a really good job of writing that. But Mike, you look like you have something to say. What did you got?
No, because you're listing off all the key characters that were or like kind of the smaller roles. And the one name you had trouble with was Benicio del Toro, dude.
Like what?
The Benicio is like the best at all. He's the best actor at all.
No, he is. He is. I just blanked for some reason. 'Cause, I don't know. I blanked. Yeah.
Because like you got Michael Rooker. I was like, that's right, Rooker. Rooker's like what's his name?
Yondu.
What's his name? Yondu. I was like, then but yeah, man, I love the Collector. I thought it was a cool character. And I know he's pretty big in comics, but yeah.
Yeah, and I just like I like all the characters in the prison, the Ravengers. I just love how everyone's just involved. Like no one feels like a I guess waste of screen time. It was just fun to have everyone there. Uh Eric, what did you think of like the Nova Corps and like seeing Xandar, and because we also know the character Nova. Did you wish that he was in it, or wish that they did something with that now that we're in phase 4 and there's still no Nova?
Well, yeah, I mean, as I was watching it, I was like, man, they better have some fucking thing to do with Nova in this one that we're going to on number in volume 3. I mean, they got to put him somewhere because they didn't put him in 1 or 2. They're all over the place in Xandar. They talk about Nova Prime. I mean, Glenn Close plays Nova Prime. Yeah, I don't know if I want to say it was like a missed opportunity, but I mean, something could have been done. I don't know how they'll bring him in.
I just feel like it was a missed opportunity because of how much time we spend on Xandar, literally seeing like all of their military, their leadership, and it's like, man, where's Nova? You see the military personnel with the helmets and shit. I'm like, man,
Right.
What the fuck?
Yeah, so it'd be interesting to see how they retcon or because unfortunately that's just how these movies are going now. It's like, okay, well, where was Nova when Xandar was getting destroyed by Ronan? Just like where was Doctor Strange when the Avengers were fighting in New York or whatever, all that bullshit.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how they actually do Nova. I'm not sure. I don't know a ton about Nova. I do like the character look and kind of what he does and all that, but yeah, I guess it was a little. I mean, they could have done something, a little tease. But he also probably is a big enough character that he deserves more than a tease and more than where he may fit in the timeline of everything. So I'm sure it was just obviously done with for a reason.
Well, yeah, that's what like kind of confuses me about it is like how important he is as a character for like the Guardians and just like as a space hero. I'm kind of blown away that there wasn't like any direct reference to him, especially like Kevin Feige, producing all these films as well, like trying to move forward with the storyline. I just find it so weird. Like volume 2, I don't know. I think there's still a reference to him maybe in there. I don't remember. Or maybe it's Adam Warlock. There's a reference to. Oh, it's Adam Warlock at the end.
For sure.
Mike, what is your favorite scene in the film, if you have one? That's tough.
Yeah, that's a first thing that comes to mind when you ask me is the prison break and then now if I'm I mean even kind of like low key one is the opening scene. You gotta what's the name of that song? It's by Redbone. Come and Get Your Love, and you see him, the choreography, like he's dancing and he's doing. You kind of get to introduce that, but like the character when he was a kid and the mom, and that was cool. But then having him be Star-Lord, but I guess the prison break scene, and then they're like being checked in, and the whole. That's when you get. I mean, I love the soundtrack too. I'm sure you guys can attest to that. Hooked on a Feeling. You get that from that opening sequence, and they get so. Because that was like the first time to get to work together, and you get the rocket on Groot's back, and you get that shot where you kind of get them shooting everything.
You get the whole team in this shot too, though, and they're all standing there where it looks like a promo shot. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was cool.
Yeah, I think before we jump to Eric's favorite scene, yeah, the soundtrack for sure is massive in these movies, and also like revitalized all of these songs that are classics. Now like so like the Guardians of the trailer for Volume 3. I forgot what song they use in that, but I shit you not, one of my grocery stores immediately put that on their radio station shortly after that trailer came out because of how popular these songs have become. I
Yep.
swear to God, it's the truth. Like I know for a
Mhm.
fact it's because of that. So yeah, I think like that's something that James Gunn really brings to the table though, is like the songs that lighten the mood or set the mood. He definitely knows what he's doing with that for sure. But Eric, what's your favorite scene in this film?
Mike took both of them.
Huh?
Mike took them both. No,
Oh,
when you brought it up to Mike, the first thing I said was the first thing I thought of was the prison scene, and then so then he said that, and I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll go with the opening scene with just because it hooks you. And then he said the same thing. So fuck Mike. You know, I think a lot of the better scenes are just kind of the banter between all of the characters. Besides those two scenes, a lot of the stuff on the spaceship and kind of with the mixtape itself was pretty funny. Like what the hell is this thing? Like, Drax is like picking it up and looking at it in the ship, and Rocket as well. So I think a lot of the banter is actually what holds that a lot of the scenes together. But I mean,
Yeah.
as far as my favorite scene, it's the prison scene, and then I would have to follow it up with like the opening scene. Although,
Mike.
right
Oh,
in the beginning too, when he's doing the dance with shit, what's that song? Is it Hooked on a Feeling? No. I
Oh,
forget.
where
Where he's
he's
dancing
dancing
right
with
now
Lamar.
after he gets captured, and then he's trying to go get the orb. That
Come
seems
and get your
funny.
love.
Come and get your love. Thank you. Yeah.
I was gonna now my favorite now probably because kind of like when we touched on Winter Soldier and how the third act was a little clunky. I didn't feel that way about this one, but the scene where they're kind of sitting down and we're like, all right, we're gonna fucking die. So, and then who's with me? We've all been shitty. Let's do something good together now because
I
we have a
hate you.
plan. Oh, that was yours? Shit. Fuck.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
God.
fucking bitch.
All
Well,
right,
no,
oh, that was
it it kind of led in though to yes, it was going to start with
yeah.
that scene.
That one.
But it
Yeah.
also led
Yeah.
into
Yeah.
them going back to Xandar and talking to Nova and them going like, holy shit, like these guys are actually
Mhm.
truly here to help these a-holes.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
then the follow-up to that would be them fighting Ronan, blowing the shit out of him in his
Mhm.
spaceship, and then the dance off to, kill
Tough.
him. So
Yeah. Yeah.
those would be like my two favorite scenes because I actually agree with you 100%, Mike. As much as I love Winter Soldier, the third act definitely slows down, but here at Guardians, it just keeps going. You never get bored with Guardians. Like you're always excited to see what comes next.
I think another good scene actually is when they're all on the ship and Drax knocked the fuck out, and they Groot starts to grow basically around them
Oh,
to save them. I think that's a really good
yeah.
scene too because it kind of shows that they've gone through some stuff now and they kind of trust each other. And Groot sees that and he gives a shit, and it just shows a little depth. So I thought that was a
Yeah,
good scene too.
the character development for a tree that says I am Groot in this entire film is actually pretty remarkable. He goes from just being a tree to continuously getting using new powers, like you said, and then to literally save them at the end. It's pretty fucking crazy, man. I was sad as shit when he sacrificed himself. Like I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
Uh, so that was cool. I mean, obviously he's a tree; he can come back, which is what we do see. But still, I really appreciate them going all out and making sure that someone dies or that the stakes were as real as they claim in that circle conversation that they had. Um, yeah, no, I I love the film. I don't think there's any bad scenes at all. Uh, yeah. Is there anything else you guys like to talk about this movie?
The one thing that the dance thing still kind of gives me a little.
It is a little stupid,
Yeah.
but
I mean, but
it's
that's
like
I
I don't
guess
know.
the
To
movie
me,
is kind of goofy in and of itself. So almost Yeah, it kind of makes sense. And I thought it was a little longer. I'm glad Ronan didn't do, like, of course he shouldn't, and wouldn't, probably, considering who he is and whatever. But it would have been worse if they actually did a dance off, because whatever. I don't know. But that was the one scene where I was like, it's a little cheesy.
Well, the dance off is for sure goofy, but I think the reason why they get away with it, like James Gunn, like still stuck with it, is because not only is Star-Lord's character, even in the comics, like that goofy,
right.
Chris Pratt can make it believable though, and because he's a Terran, like Earth is just terror to people. He's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like Ronan's just like so baffled. Like, is there like something that's gonna happen from this? And then of course, obviously, just enough to distract him so Rocket can blow the shit out of his hammer. um it is goofy, like there's no question about it. I'm not trying to defend it, but at least like with the characters that we have and who's playing them, I feel like they pulled it off still.
Yeah.
What were we saying about volume 2 earlier? You think volume 2 is better than 1, Mike? That you said?
I there's a few arguments to make. Like, yeah, I remember just because of Kurt Russell. I mean, I guess I think learning about Peter's dad and stuff, and they introduced some new characters that were you kind of got to look with the Ravagers. Like, I still would I'd put the first one over volume 2, but I guess
I like neck and neck though, for sure.
yeah, the soundtrack was better in volume 1, I think, too. And I keep going back to the soundtrack with all these cool old songs, and the emotional connection that Gunn tied it in with his mom giving him that, and you kind of get, and then in volume 2 you get like they just lost Yondu, spoiler alert, and they get and then what's his name gives it like what's it, like, it wasn't an iPod, it was
A Walkman.
a Walkman. Was it a Walkman? And in volume 2,
there's a Zoom.
yeah, a Zoom, yeah. And he gives it to Pete. It's like, hey, like, this is all the fuss is about nowadays here. And there's like a bunch of, so it was cool, man. I love this movie. I think it's got to be somewhere in the mix for top 5 for me. But uh, but yeah, the dance off wasn't. I mean, there's a raccoon in the movie, dude, that talks, and there's a tree, so I wasn't like, I could take a dance off.
I also have Yondu at the end of the second one saying, I'm Mary Poppins, y'all. So before he dies. So
yeah.
Yeah, I think both movies are like neck and neck, because I'm thinking about like a lot of what happens. You got Sylvester Stallone in it too with his crew and shit. They're definitely really good movies. Yeah, so the post credit scene for this film, I forgot to watch them because I was just gonna look it up on YouTube instead of actually sitting through the credits. But the first one's Baby Groot dancing, and then every time Drax turns around, he just stays still. But there's a second one, isn't there, Eric? Or I'll say I don't remember. Does you guys know if there's a
thought it was
one?
wasn't it Howard the Duck? Wasn't it Howard the Duck?
Oh yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so yeah, they did nothing to move forward. So that's where Howard the Duck was. Got it. Yeah, fantastic movie. You guys have anything else to say about it before we rate it and kind of wrap this up?
No, not really. I mean, I think we've said everything. I mean, it's just really fun. They did what I think nobody thought they would do, and knocked it out of the park. I mean, thinking about it now, as you guys were talking about the second one, I'm like, man, the second one's pretty good too. So I may watch that today just because I want to watch it before the third one on Thursday.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna watch it too, just to sprinkle it in sections, because you're right. After Mike bringing it up and we're kind of talking about it, I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of good moments in that one too. I'd love to see fleshed out again, because obviously I haven't seen it in a while, especially before the third one.
Just come over and watch it.
Oh, probably not today,
fucking invite, dude?
Or don't.
Jesus.
You live too far, Mike.
You guys live too far. Well, so I don't think the MCU would be the MCU even though we're in phase 4 now, like it wouldn't be as strong if this movie flopped. And if this movie fucked up and they had a bunch of question marks and a bunch of stuff that people, other common folk didn't know about, if this movie fucks up, I don't think the MCU is nearly as strong. So, and they did something that I was wrong. I was not expecting much of this movie, and maybe that's why I work so much. But I love the movie. So now I'm trying to think of the number.
Like nothing against Cap or Iron Man, but I agree. Like this movie is definitely what kept the MCU alive in terms of moving forward with the specific storylines, such as the Infinity Wars. No doubt about it. But I'd give the movie a 9 out of 10. It is still like it could be considered an epic, but I really do agree that like maybe Ronan should have been left alive or just something to give him more screen time down the road as a really heinous kind of villain. He didn't have to necessarily die, but I still like what they did with him. But the rest of the movie's pretty goddamn amazing. I can't really critique anything, so I'd definitely give it a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, same here. I'll give it a 9. I mean, I think there's just a couple little things, but it's nothing that's like just so insane that I can't live through it and I can't enjoy it. And it's just really when you start to nitpick, or not nitpick, but just kind of you've watched it numerous times, and just a couple little things that you think of. And but yeah, I give it a 9 for sure. It's a top 10 Marvel movie.
Top 10 for sure. I'd probably give it more like closer to an 8, or like around the same like I gave Winter Soldier, like 8.5. Yeah, man. I want to be shown. I'm probably gonna be, replaying this movie for a long time, just not just for me, but for the kids, and and just an all around great. It's kind of. I don't know because I kind of want to. The fact I was kind of upset at the moment because when that shit happened with Gunn, what happened with Gunn? He got like, did he diddle a kid or something? What did he do? It wasn't nearly as bad.
No, he just had mentioned it was from like his Twitter in 2011 that people were bringing up, and he had jokingly said some things. I don't remember exactly, but obviously
it was like a joke it was just dark humor, bro. It was just straight up joking about pedophilia. Not just something like it. Like it wasn't saying he condones it or anything, or condones it. It was just a joke, just like Kevin Hart with like what got him off the hosting the Grammys or whatever or the Oscars. It was just a joke that people were just manhunting people for. Any kind of person that had a joke back then, they were just trying to cancel him. And thank God it didn't happen to him, because I think this guy's awesome. Like I thought Peacemaker was fucking legit, the Suicide Squad. So I can't wait to see what he does with the DC universe as well. But yeah, so that's the movie. Guardians of the Galaxy is great. I can't wait to talk about the third one. Hopefully next Sunday. Mike, make sure you see it this week so we can talk about it, because me and Eric are going to see it on Thursday.
I know. Thanks for that. Thanks for the invite, guys.
What do you mean? Thanks for the invite. You're going to drive out here?
Suckers, dude. Yeah, I might.
Okay, I'll buy you a ticket. You come out.
What, Thursday?
Thursday at 3.
Thursday at 3. All right.
Okay, let me know.
You should probably let him know today so he could buy a ticket.
Thursday. Where we're at? Closer in.
Right by my house, down the street from my house. There's a theater. So
all right, dude.
Better figure it out.
Yeah, you could take the 74 the whole way.
All right, I just literally this morning just passing through the 74. So
man. So you came by our houses and didn't say anything. Okay.
Cool. Yeah, it was 5:30 in the morning, dude. Yeah.
I was awake.
Were you?
I was awake too. No, I was awake, but I kept purposely going back to sleep and stayed in bed till 8.
Yeah. Thank you for the I did not know about the details of the James Gunn needs to be up there with Favreau and the Mount Rushmore of MCU stuff because of what he did. That's why I was kind of like, shit, man, they're really gonna fucking. Sorry, that was upsetting. But oh wait, no, shit, the Russos over James Gunn. Oh no, now I'm thinking.
No, well, you said Mount Rushmore, Russos, so man. I mean, you still have two heads to.
Well, there you go. Is there anybody else that needs to be up there? No.
I will say though that it was upsetting that they had canceled him. Whatever. Disney or Marvel, whoever said, okay, well, we're going to take the heat off of us and get rid of him. But then after, there was a little bit of maybe a couple days, I was excited that the Guardians themselves, all the actors, pinned a fucking letter stating that, that they're standing with him, and that this is just bullshit. And I think that was signed by almost everybody on that part of that team. So
yeah, or something like that after what he did for that fucking whole enterprise, dude. So
damage control.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like Jim from Ghost Inside. He was the manager, and because of some stuff that came out too, he literally canceled himself and then just got back into the band later on. I was like, it's a smart move. That's what you had to do. And let it blow over. So yeah, that's it for the MCU today. We'll see you guys next Sunday as we talk about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. There's a lot of reviews for it out that are non-spoiler, and a lot of people are just saying it's good to have the MCU back because it is kind of just a standalone film. Like James Gunn didn't make this, worrying about moving forward with anything. And I can't wait to see this movie. I think it's going to be great. I think the trailer's phenomenal. And who doesn't want to see a baby rocket? So thank you guys so much, Mike, Eric. Thank you guys so much for being on the show. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to check out all of our social platforms and the giveaway. Be sure to leave a comment, subscribe, like, all that bullshit. Make sure you get it done. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.